With the upstart Illawarra Hawks, who won their way in against New Zealand. This will be a good clash. Now, the market expects Melbourne to come out breathing fire and get the job done. 7.5 is the line. The Hawks can keep it close, but ultimately will take Melbourne to get it done. I love Travers. I love Daly, particularly in a leadership role. And Gary Clark is the best player for the Hawks. This will be a cracker. Enjoy.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Yeah, there's a stark difference, really, from last year. This time last year, we were booking holidays and thinking about what's next, whereas for quite some time now in this regular season, we've known that we're going to be playing playoffs in some capacity, and from then on it was about honing in and trying to give us the best position as possible going forward. So I think the reality of it is it all starts again. It all starts right now. There's a new season that's about to start.
Well, the play-in is done and the finals are about to begin. Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker, welcome back to the Coca-Cola pre-game show. Melbourne United, 17 days on the pine. The Illawarra Hawks coming off a massive win. What's most at stake is a finals win, but who wins it from here?
Well, there's a lot at stake, of course. Position to continue on to achieve your goal of winning a championship. And for me, I think Melbourne United, their depth, I know the rest might be an issue, but they've got too much talent and it's going to be tough for the Hawks.
I agree. I think Melbourne United's ability to defend and then clean the glass, Andrew, will be too much for Illawarra over time. Even though Illawarra may get out of the gates quickly, Melbourne United will dominate in the second half.
Certainly going to be a very, very, very close battle.
You're not off the hook that quick, Felix. Who you like?
Oh, I've got to give a prediction on this one, do I?
You do.
Well, Melbourne United, they've always been very good to me. I played there, I got a lot of friends.
Oh, wow.
And for that reason, I'm going with the Illawarra Hawks.
Oh,
David versus
okay.
Goliath. Let the little man win. Melbourne, Illawarra starts now.
The Illawarra Hawks have scratched and clawed their way to the playoffs.
The NBL24 final series is underway in Tasmania. Trading baskets, these two teams. A thunderous jam from Will Magnay. This is one of the most unbelievable individual performances that I've seen. Magnay!
Oh my God!
How good is NBL finals basketball? Visible frustration now for the Illawarra Hawks. They will ultimately lose, but they remain in the hunt.
This is a huge game, massive crowd, and there's so much on the line.
Parker Jackson Cartwright shut down by Davo Hickey.
PJC gets one from the corner.
15-point lead has evaporated. Looks vicious. Rushed on, rejected by Hickey. Look at the finish here from Robinson. 12 seconds inside the game clock. Foul on the alpha. They're over the limit. This to put the Hawks back in front. Parker Jackson Cartwright steps into a tough shot and went halfway down and jumped out. The Hawkies are going to the semi-final. Unbelievable finish. The Hawkies have prevailed in an epic 88-85.
Now they face their toughest test. Melbourne United.
Ultra impressive.
Melbourne United flexed its considerable muscle. Melbourne United, a genuine contender once again.
Just hard not to be impressed with Melbourne United. They're only going to get better.
It's a warning to the rest of the league. Melbourne United send a shudder through the rest of the competition. Melbourne United continue their dominance here at John Cain Arena. The very best team in the competition.
They are playing scintillating basketball. Melbourne United are the benchmark here in the Hungry Jacks NBL this season.
Tonight, the playoff series, Game 1, starts now.
The champions of the regular season enter the fray as Melbourne United host Illawarra in Game 1 of this playoff series. The Hawks fought through the play-in game on Monday, while United have laid low, waiting 18 days since they last played. That against this very Hawks team here in round 20. We are really into the thick of the postseason. Game 1 of this playoff series tonight between Melbourne and Illawarra. And of course, we head west tomorrow as the Wildcats host the Jack Jumpers in Game 1 of playoff series 1. Of course, they can go to the best of 3. Home court advantage throughout the playoffs with Melbourne United as the #1 seed. The Wildcats have home court advantage in that playoff series, and it is going to be such a tasty postseason in the Hungry Jacks NBL in 2024. For now, our focus is on United and the Hawks. And we've got a pair of NBL MVPs in Derek Rucker and Andrew Gaze alongside our courtside MVP in Nerily Meadows.
Thank you very much, Joel. Gazy, such an amazing crowd, a huge game tonight, and we know big games, big game players. Chris Goulding, he was brilliant for the first half of the season, MVP form, but fell away. That three-point percentage was above 40, dropped down to 29 after a couple of weeks off. How's he going to go tonight?
Yeah, I think the rest are doing well and freshen up. He's getting a little into more the latter stages of his career, relatively speaking, and as such, a bit of a break to fine-tune that jump shot. But he's always going to be the attention of the opposition. They're going to be throwing different bodies at him, and they've been doing that, Derek. Every team, when they're coming up against Melbourne United, Chris Goulding is going to be at the top of the scouting report.
That's true, and also, Andrew, we got to keep in mind that some of those games late in the season weren't that important, so he really wasn't required to perform at the level he was doing in the first half. And narrowly, look at that star-studded cast.
It is such a star-studded cast. The depth is absolutely incredible. NBA players, MVP kind of caliber players. The depth is what stands out for Melbourne United.
And I think one of the forgotten players in this whole thing is JLA. He is an NBA-level big man. And Andrew, we saw up in Brisbane when he had 33 points in a big game up there. So at any point, Melbourne United have 4 or 5 guys that can dominate the game at any moment.
And they come at you in waves because Ariel Hockporty comes in and they don't miss a beat. Slightly different priorities on what they can do at both the offensive, defensive end, but that's going to put a whole lot of pressure on Sam Froling for the Illawarra Hawks.
Another man that really needs to back up his performance up against the Breakers is Justin Robinson. 26 points. He was enormous.
Yeah, Justin Robinson is fantastic. He's had an up and down season coming off the bench, but he's accepted that role and he's playing some great basketball. And he showed that in those important moments when the pressure's on, some players shy away from that. He embraced it. He wanted the ball. A couple of big threes and 14 of 14 from the free throw line.
And in this game, if the intent is to get up and down and push the pace, when he gets in the game against the bench of Melbourne United, he must dominate that scenario, Andrew, for the Hawks to have success in game one.
Two men though, Gary Clark as well as Tyler Harvey, they need to come big time tonight. It's not going to be quite the same as it was against the Breakers. Melbourne United are a top of the table team.
Well, I said, Andrew, one of these guys has to be the man of the series in order for the Hawks to advance. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think they both have to contribute. Having said that, they won against New Zealand when they both only had the 7 points. But Gary Clark, the concern I have, he looked like he was carrying something in that game against New Zealand. Make no excuses for him. And Tyler Harvey can explode on any given night. He can give you 30, no problems whatsoever.
Joel Gazy's fired up. How about you? What are the starting fives for this huge clash?
Absolutely, Nez. The starting five for the Illawarra Hawks stays the same as it did against New Zealand. Will Hickey out there for his second start of the season with Harvey, Clark, Swakala Bullock and Sam Froling. And for Melbourne United, it's a tried and tested lineup for Dean Vickerman. Despite an 18-day break into this one, Joe Luala-Chul Jr. out there with Matthew Delavan over Luke Travers, Chris Goulding and the Damien Martin Trophy winner, Shea Illy. The Hawks have made their way through the play-in. United sat back and waited for things to unfold. And now we're playing for keeps. The playoffs are underway. Big crowd at John Cain Arena on its feet. And Melbourne United will start us off. The best team in the regular season against the upstart Hawks. Goulding with a 3 to open things up.
Set him up beautifully. Fake the back cut for the pin down. And a decent look for Chris Goulding to start this one off.
Rolling inside early. That's a nice start for the big man.
Excellent sign. Sam Froling in Tasmania did not finish well. He didn't get a lot of looks. He was only 4 or 10 in that game. But for him to get one here off the back of the big performance he had on Monday night, great start for the Hawks.
Terrific on Monday night with 21 against the Breakers. Highly efficient outing. Delve it over inside. Travis couldn't handle the pass. And that was the big Achilles heel for the Hawks on Monday, was those 18 turnovers. they can force a couple out of United here. It'll be a big plus for them. Hickey looking to set things up at the offensive end. Froling takes it into his own hands. Little fadeaway's nice.
That's a little too easy to start. This guy's full of confidence, and not sure it was an intended ISO from the free throw line, but he just got to his spot and it was a relatively easy shot.
Travers for three, buries that.
Well, he's one we don't have been really talking about too much in the pre-game, but he's also one that's had an outstanding season.
And we saw the Hawks do this the other night, just continue to attack the paint and look for interior opportunities. Melbourne United looking a bit average right now on the defensive end as Delhi gets fouled on his little floater.
What would Dean Vickerman be looking for in the early stages here to give him a sign of whether his team's got that spark after the layoff, Drewy?
Well, I think you judge it on the defensive end, and right now he wouldn't be overly impressed, particularly the way in which the ease at which they had. What is it? The perfect 3 of 3 from the field. Come down there, and just the intensity hasn't quite been at that playoff level. And that's the adjustment the teams can make. I thought in that game against the Jack Jumpers, Illawarra looked tentative and was not playing at an intensity that is required in the playoffs. And the good thing for them is they were able to make the adjustment and went back to their home court. Melbourne United got to be careful because they're not coming home after this one. They're going to go and have to go to Illawarra, so they can't afford the same type of slip-up.
Rolling's got it again on the offensive end. Goes underneath. Luala Chul called for the foul.
And this is a young man, Joel, whose confidence is continuing to grow almost daily. If you look what he did in that play-in game down in Tasmania, while he wasn't bad, as I said before, he just didn't get enough done, but he's come out in this game ready, and not only ready, but going after one of the top big men in the competition, someone who is a very good defender on the best defensive team in the league.
Someone who you thought might give them the edge in JLA in this series, Derek.
No doubt, and Sam Froling realizes the burden. He's got to face JLA and Ariel Haporti throughout this contest. He has a fantastic burden, but it's a great challenge for him as well.
So an early 3-point lead to the Hawks. Dellavedova scoots inside. Hickey does enough to worry him out of it. Harry Clark, who had a minor pre-game injury concern,
this is just
out there, and Froling's got it again. Sam Froling putting on an exhibition early.
Straight away, Dean Vickerman points to the bench, and he's going to have an early look at Ariel Haporti.
Beautiful feed from Illy to get it to Golding in the corner.
Well, offensively, United look like they're not showing many signs of rust. It's on the defensive end, and especially interior, where they've really got to pick it up and get hard.
Harvey stepped on the sideline.
The thing with what Joe Luala-Chul has done is allowed relatively easy catches for Froling in really good scoring positions. Straight away, Ariel Haporti comes in and provides a much more physical presence, perhaps.
The next star up against the Next Gen Award winner in Haporti and Froling. Dellavedova turns the corner. Nice finish from Travers to tie things up.
Ball movement good early on for Melbourne United.
No worries at the offensive end for the host. It's been at this end of the floor. Their problems have come early. Clark in the corner. He spots up and connects.
Both teams look really crisp offensively, and I'm really keen to see this matchup between Illy and Harvey. Oh.
He got walled up at the other end. Hickey with some good defense. A little bit sore behind the play as well, Davo Hickey, as he makes his way back into things. Froling kicks it out to Swakala Bullock. That one won't go.
Well, Illy and Dellavedova had some good penetrating drives in the transition to get to the bucket, but they were able to unable to finish it. And Clark, and what a transformation we've seen from Clark from the start of the season, where we think, gee, I'm not sure this guy's going to survive to be one of the elite players in the competition.
And already, Andrew, while he doesn't look like he's moving with the same ease that we saw late in the season before he sustained that injury, he certainly looks better than he showed on Monday night with his mobility.
Swakala inside. Froling with 5 on the shot clock. Loses the handle. Travers comes up with it for Melbourne United. They can push the tempo here. Illy throws it up. Oh, Cordy almost made something of it. Made it look very good. Just couldn't finish. Hickey back the other way. Lays that one home.
And that's where he's so good, Joel, in transition. He uses a great change of pace combined with Euros and veer moves.
Hell of it over at the other end. Cairns a triple. 3 early from downtown for United. So we're tied away at 15. Halfway through this opening frame, Illy comes up with the loose ball, almost. And it'll stay on the offensive end for the Hawks. Let's check in with Nerily Meadows.
Just loving the energy from Ian Clark, who's checking in now for the first time tonight. We know what an integral role he's played on this Melbourne United bench. He was just on the bike warming up. The coach said, I want you. He said, uh-oh, go time. Love the energy from the big man. And it is his birthday today. So a big happy birthday to Ian Clark. All he wants is a win.
33 today, Ian Clark. Was 5-0 in the NBL playoffs. He went through that run with Sydney undefeated. They faced the Hawks in that playoff series in NBL22. And now he steps out with Melbourne United. We know his playoff experience in the NBA. Opportunity here for the Hawks to head to the stripe.
And quite a few substitutions early as Justin Robinson will check into the game for Swakala. The Hawks, Justin Tatum, he'd be ecstatic with this start.
For sure. And he's looking at this and he sees the Hawks 6 or 7 from the field. And the thing that would be marginally concerning is he looks down the other end and he sees Melbourne United getting out, running in waves. And missed a couple of bunnies around the basket you normally expect to make, but this is going to be a grind. And it's just relentless when you think of Ian Clark, Hukporti coming in. There's just no let-up when they go to their bench with Melbourne United.
So it has made them so good this season. Great pass from Hukporti and Travers hammers it home. And Justin Tatum not pleased with what he saw there. He wants a timeout to talk it over with his team.
It's really well executed. They see that they're a hard show. And we take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. See, Froling comes up, then they're just playing 2-on-1. Peakling's got to make a decision and probably should have stayed at home a little bit more, particularly with Hukporti and taking the odds rather than just allowing the easy dump off.
So an easy bucket for United. They take they tied up at 17 apiece. Justin Tatum addressing his troops. Nerily Meadows caught up with Sam Froling pre-game to talk about the Illawarra coach.
Justin Tatum, he's really turned things around as coach. Can you just give us a bit of an insight of what he brings to this team?
I mean, his energy is just, you know, it's so contagious amongst the group, and he brings such a positive energy with us. He's in there, he's in the weight room with us, he's on court messing around with us all the time. Just leading from that front. And then his basketball knowledge is pretty high level too, which always helps for a head coach.
I love the fact that you smile when you talk about him. What has he done for you personally?
I mean, he's just given me a whole new level of confidence, belief in my game. You know, there's some stuff that he just looks at me and goes, why didn't you shoot it, or why didn't you do that? And, you know, it's something that, you know, previously I might have questioned or whatever, but, you know, just him, you know, he was an ex-player, so he understands some of that stuff, and he's been really good. And just the belief he's instilled in me has helped me a long way.
And showing it at the moment, Sam Froling is brimming with confidence. 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting early doors.
And Drewy, you understand how difficult it is to find a quality Australian big. They are at a premium, and especially in the coming seasons, as we will lose some bigs in the competition. So for Sam Froling to be making this ascendancy right now is big time for the Hawks.
Robinson going coast to coast and flying into the basket support. Hell of it over, doing the same at a rather different pace, and then he forces the ball loose off Clark. Bit of thievery from Dowley, out to Golding. Can't get the friendly roll. Peatling, one of former Melbourne United players out there for the Hawks, drags in the rebounds.
It is a different look when they've got Peatling out here instead of Froling, and different skill sets and different priorities.
Clark straight over the top of Dellavedova without hesitation.
But that's a priority you don't want to go away from. I know he only had those 7 points in that game against New Zealand, but that looks weak.
And over the course of the season, he's a 36% three-point shooter, more than respectable, especially when you combine it with all his other assets and attributes.
6 points early on 2 of 2 for Gary Clark, as at the other end, the birthday boy Ian Clark with a pretty move getting to his left hand. And he's got a chance to tie it up at 20 from the stripe.
Well, Clark down one end, but this, we saw what we, with Clark, that's 100% by design. They are going to test Todd Blanchfield's lateral movement. And if they get into a situation where he's got Clark, you just see they all spread the floor and just say, open up that middle third of the floor and tell Clark to get to the rim.
Now, we know inside Dean Vickerman is probably seething with this defensive effort right now. They've already given up 20 points in this quarter, and that is not how he views his championship potential in this season. He wants more defensively, as Clark is really starting to find his way, Joel.
Good to see him being aggressive, coming off a couple of injuries. 7 of 9 from the field, the Hawks early stages here. Knight at 7 of 11 at the other end. So both offenses ticking things over nicely.
Well, this is the hard part, Andrew. Something's going to give when you have this amount of time off. 2.5 weeks. You can't come back whole as a player.
It's tough, but
there's going to be a lag on one end.
You not always, but what you got is a really experienced bunch out here that have seen playoff action, and a lot of these players know the level they've got to get to. So it's not like there's a bunch of rookies running around here just feeling their way through it.
Speaking of action, the Harlem Globetrotters coming downtown down under in 2024, Australia and New Zealand. Get your tickets at HG2024 to NBL.com.au. Bowen's out there for Melbourne United now. Hawks by 2, 3 minutes remaining opening frame. Porty's little baby hook won't go. Young Lee getting some early run, and Clark's foul bringing it up the floor for the Hawks.
Well, Lee could play a pivotal role when you think of the Illawarra Hawks and what they're going to have to do on the offensive end. You've got to find some points from somewhere, and he's shown throughout the course of the season, he gets going from the three-point line. It really opens things up for the Illawarra Hawks.
And he does a good job of positioning himself so he always does get looks, but they're face guarding him right now. They do not want to let him get a look as Peatling finishes with the left hand off the glass. Illawarra off to a strong start.
8 of 10 from the field for the Hawks. Making it happen at the offensive end, just as Justin Tatum would have wanted. Here's Flynn Cameron upstairs. Porty can't quite finish. It was an awkward landing. But he's up and okay, the big man.
This one looked awkward, but I thought there was a lot of ball in real time. They run the Spanish action. Well,
is hand part of the ball, Andrew?
Yes, it is. Based on my understanding of the rules, if you just Google it, Derek, you'll see that hand is part of the ball in that action.
In that case, I wouldn't have deemed that to be a foul.
Come on, D. You know hand is part. All those times when you were playing and you wiping at things and flipping hands.
I'm sure none of them were fouls. Clark's able to secure the rebound up the hook. Porty splits them at the line. And again, we see the Hawks flying up the court. And Robinson stepped on the chalk.
I don't mind that turnover because he's pushing it. You can see his confidence is much higher than, say, back in December. Just got to tidy it up a little bit, but not a negative result for the Hawks in the grand scheme of things in this game. He's into the game, Drew. You see he's energized.
Yeah. 26 points and 14 for the free throw line will do wonders for your confidence.
JLA now trying to make the move across the lane. Bowen rips down the offensive rebound for United. Tanner Krebs with a strong take. Can't float that one home. Luala Chul pulls it down. He's fouled.
Well, that's an area that would be of concern, the O boards. And by and large, the Hawks have been doing a good job on the boards, but this time a couple in the same possession of offensive rebounds. And Again, that's what I'm talking about when you've got that small lineup with Peatling on there. Straight away, they make the change, and Froling comes back in.
And straight away, the message is clear. Like, Peatling is on a tight leash. If he can't rebound and secure defensive rebounds, and we get offensive boards from the Melbourne bigs, giving them second chance opportunities, we got to go back to Froling, and Froling has to be prepared to go 33-plus minutes each game.
Well, it sure misses both. Melbourne United, the worst free throw shooting team in the competition at 69%, as noted by Pete Hooley on NBL.com.au today. They missed 3 of their past 4. Beautiful find from Robinson to hit Clark. And Dean Vickerman not happy at all. Calls timeout.
Well, there's a lot to be fuming about in a game, but that one was just really good offense against OK deep. Just look at the pass. That had to thread the needle. Perhaps not missing an assignment or not abiding by their rules of what they do.
That's a dime, Drew.
It is.
Wow.
That is hard to beat. And that's the ghost screen that was set. No contact, and just gets a half a step on Bowen, and that's enough to find him. Beautiful pass.
So 5-point lead to the Hawks, 26-21. Of course, the birthday boy, Ian Clark, 33 today, caught up with Nerily Meadows pre-game about what United's been doing over their 18-day break.
You've had quite a couple of weeks of break. How have you stayed together? How have you stayed focused and fired up?
We've had a couple of days of competitive against each other, which has been really good throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. You know, being able to simulate some game situations and game reps as best we could. Obviously, we're not without playing for a long time, so it's been good to kind of, you know, play against someone else tonight, but I think we've been prepared.
I can't help but notice a little smile, the wry grin on your face when you spoke about that. Was there a bit of niggle? Did you get the better of someone? What's going on there?
I think, you know, in and out, I think they got the better of my team sometimes, and, you know, my team did the same thing. So, but it was good for us. I think we needed it over the course of the 2 weeks.
They started well, United, but the Hawks in this arm wrestle of the opening term, Derek, just got the upper hand at the moment.
They do, and right now they just look like, having played regularly over the past week or so, they're just a little bit sharper and tighter, and that was to be expected.
Nice pass from Clark to find Bowen underneath.
But depth comes into play, Drew, because Dean can just keep rotating guys till he finds someone that's working and ready.
Yeah, and can keep his guys fresh.
Clark off the kick out. Another one goes down for Ian Clark, for Gary Clark. 4 of 4, 13 points. You consider that he only had 7 in the whole game on Monday.
Well, Drew, it's that dilemma we always face when a guy's been a bit quiet.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. Is that what he is now because of the injury, or is he about to bust out on us?
Well, right now, it's the latter. He's busting out in an emphatic fashion with the 13 points. That was his first miss from the field.
And that looked good.
I leave Illy alone. That one's a little bit strong.
Absolutely prepared to live with that. You're going to make Illy make a few from the three-point line. Not here, then. Dean Vickerman's not going to live with that.
Can't leave Young Jung Lee alone too often. Nor can you leave that man in the open court. JLA thumps it down.
Melbourne United got away with one there, leaving Lee naked from the 3. Doesn't capitalize, and they get one on the other end.
2 seconds for Robinson. Can't hit. Froling tried to come over the top, and we go to quarter time, and these match-hardened Hawks have come out strong. They lead United by 4 at the end of one, 29-25. Quarter time at John Cain Arena. Game 1 of the playoffs. Melbourne United and Illawarra. A fast start for both sides. Luke Travers stepping outside, knocking down the Mitsubishi Motors 3. Gary Clark answered with 3 of his own in that first turn. Clark's got 13 points on 4 of 5 shooting. Travers at the other end has 9 points on 4 of 4. It's 29-25 Illawarra at the end of 1. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze. It's been an entertaining start.
It's been a fantastic start. High quality basketball, but kind of according to the script. We've been talking about the break might take a little while for Melbourne United to get going. And this man there, Clark, he was the one that really set the tone. This guy started it off, though. He has been superb.
Goes right back to work. Sam Froling and the foul.
And they're now 11 of 17 from the field, and Froling's got 10 on a perfect 4 of 4. Clark's 13 on 4 of 5.
And add to that, now JLA has 2 fouls early in this second quarter. Drew, a few weeks ago, we were doing a broadcast together, and you said when you get 2 fouls, you got to come out of the game in this situation.
No, I'm not a 2-man. I'm not. I'm the other side. I'm the. Hey, you got to know your player, and you got to know the personality. And
okay,
can you trust him? Some automatically assume it. Nice pass. Talk about alley-oops and finding people around the rim. We called it, Derek, before the start of the game. There's none better than Matthew Dellavedova and Shea Ely. This time it's Delly on the Harvey Norman replay, just throwing it up in a perfect catch and throw down. Travers is on fire.
5 of 5 for 11 points for Luke Travers. He and Clark opposed to one another. Harvey's involved. That one's around and out. And Luke Travers brings it up the floor for United. Yet to see Golding really get going. Dellavedova's been the facilitator of everything so far for Melbourne. There he is to Travers again. Offloads to Joe Luala-Chul, who's too big and too strong on that occasion. Back to a 3-point lead now for the Hawks. Let's check in with Nerily Meadows. Nets.
I've got to tell you, boys, the intensity of this game, you can really feel it. Just listening in to Dean Vickerman at that quarter-time address, the energy, the buzz, the focus of the team. Chris Golding, for one, was so vocal, really just trying to G the boys up. It's really gone up a notch, hasn't it? Playoff basketball, we love it.
Both sides know exactly what this means.
Oh dear.
Dellavedova for 3.
Wow. Now that's another one I think that the Hawks are prepared to live with. Certainly in the start of the game, they'll go underneath screens, but made a couple now.
28% on the season from downtown for Delly. Froling gets to his right hand, can't scoop it home. Golding back the other way. Makes his move. Basket doesn't count.
Well, that might be a way to help Chris Golding, because in the half court, Swakala Bullock, or whoever's guarding Chris Golding, they are not helping. They are just locked in, face guarding him, and he finds a bit of space in the open court. And there you see Harvey just going underneath and down this end of the floor. Gee, when did the foul occurred? Had he collected the ball? The referee said no, he hadn't collected. So it's a sideline, and the Illawarra Hawks on this sideline out of bounds. Have a look at some zone defense.
This time Gary Clark popped the flop warning among all that. There is Golding, lighting it up from downtown as he does so well, and he hands United their first lead of the game.
And Melbourne United's 3-point shooting is vital in this first half to keep them in this one. Give them this slim lead as Swakala Bullock misses from deep.
Out and running again, United. Travers had it poked loose.
And he won't get much in as far as stats, but there we see the shot, the 3-ball. That's tough. But Dave O'Hickey there, just the chase down. And that's a good contest. Weak side help coming from Hickey. Certain things you got to live with, but that's the play I'm talking about. A lot of plays, and maybe in the regular season, you might have a bit of that fake hard run in transition, but in playoff, that is genuine hard running by Hickey to save a basket.
Bullock and Ian Clark having a bit of a cuddle.
And I like how Illawarra on the offensive end are being able to isolate Sam Froling in the middle cylinder. Clark.
Gee.
Beautiful out-of-bounds play. Clark airballed the 3. Ooh. Froling at the other end. Gets to the hoop again. Sam Froling has 15. Make it 13 for Froling. He's 5 of 6. Doing whatever he wants inside. Challenge at the other end now. Alachul can't hit over the top of him. Lani Swakala-Bullock runs the floor. He can't finish, but Froling can.
Froling's having an absolute field day in there, Drew. They got to get a body on him. JLA is just finding the timing a bit strange and hard at the moment. He looks like he's the most affected by the break, Andrew.
He's just not prioritising Froling enough. He
just looks a little bit tired to me, Drew.
Maybe a little tired or just not quite intense enough in his respect for Froling. And right there, here we see it again. Froling out in the break. And Joe Alachul a couple of steps behind.
Swakala-Bullock in the corner. Big 3.
Oh.
He's an underrated shooter. Just, in fact, an underrated basketball player and another player that has been unlocked under Justin Tatum.
Travers doesn't hesitate. He can't hit at the other end. Hawks want to push the tempo again. Hickey this time. Clark kept it alive. Well done from Gary Clark.
Oh, my God.
Great defense from Dellavedova.
Drew, I think there was a foul in there.
Well.
And Delly splashes it in at the other end.
Delly's been a savior in this first half. Knocking down 3 of 3 from deep.
That's right.
It's the Blitz Delly.
Well, it certainly wasn't the sort of form we saw him in the pre-game shoot-around, was it, Derek? You made mention that he might have missed a few. He's a gamer. When the bright lights are on, he's stepping up and not shying away from it.
And they're not easy catch and shoots. They're off the bounce. He's finding his rhythm nicely. Ooh, that's a good move.
Gary Clark making his displeasure rather apparent.
That's just good hands. No foul there.
Nope, no foul.
And there's that pull-up.
That was nice.
It is.
And good fundamental basketball right there from Chris Golding. Show the ball, get the defender to raise up, and then rip through.
Gary Clark comes out of the game. Blanchfield back in for Justin Tatum. Illy can't hit. Hukporti with the second chance and one.
Now, Andrew, we have sung Sam Froling's praises through this first half and throughout the year, but this is where the challenge will lie. Dean Vickerman has 2 guys he can throw at him. And can Froling keep the intensity up, keep his sharpness up, and still be really productive?
Yeah, and the energy that he's got to expend at both ends of the floor right now with the points, the 15 points, it's what a lot of people think. It takes a lot of energy still down on that offensive end, and then to be able to apply it down this end where he's got a hard show a lot of the times with shooters coming off screens, and then of course do his work on the boards. It's labor intensive for Froling.
Andrew Gaze and Derek Rucker with their insight and commentary. Noel Peterson with you, Nerily Meadows. Great to have your company. Game 1 of this playoff series as Froling floats another one home. 17 for Sam Froling.
Great composure and poise. Also quickness from Hickey there to get to the spot and deliver that pass.
Now he's battling with Hukporti. And he's called for the foul.
It is, and when Hukporti's in that semi-drops position, see Hukporti just out there offering some help, but there's enough space and just the excellent pass and down the other end of the floor. Gee, Froling didn't do a whole lot wrong. Just slightly, the arms not quite perfectly vertical.
I agree, and they've come with a substitution, so Peatling comes in and will play alongside Froling. And for Melbourne United, with Kyle Bowen in the line, perhaps we might see a switch here where Froling goes over and gets off of Hukporti just to save himself a little bit. Drew, what do you think?
Well, they've got to do something to try and
preserve him,
because when he's out of the game, you do notice a difference.
17 for Sam Froling early doors. Leads all scorers. Blanchfield, he fires away. Porty with the rebound. Travers has got 11 to pace Melbourne United. So too Dellavedova. Illy from outside. That'll go! And Shea Illy is fouled. He can go to the line and make it a 4-point play.
Melbourne United are 7 of 13 from the three as we look at the replay.
Oh, no. You just got to run by him.
Blanchfield makes the critical mistake, Drew.
He does. He's going by the scout, so he goes underneath the screen, and then on the closeout, you don't need to do that on a 24% three-point shooter. You give him a chance for the 4-point play.
Shalian converts it. 7 of 11 from the stripe so far, United. They now lead by 5. After Illawarra led by as many as 5 earlier in this term.
I don't like that play either. You're down by 5. No pass offense, and there's some contact.
Well, that's a lot of frustration from not getting the call that he believed he deserved on the other end, but it was really bad offense by Robinson. And whoa, that's on the verge, Drew. I mean, I'm no USF friend, but that looked pretty close to an unsportsmanlike foul.
I think it's going to meet the criteria. There's no play on the ball. That's just a hip and shoulder into a player advancing the ball. They're having a look at it, I believe.
Oh my!
Yeah, he didn't. He tried to fake the steal. I don't think he intended to really be that physical. He wanted just to commit the foul and look like he was going for the steal, but he didn't do a good job of it. It's unsportsmanlike. So a real swing in play this last 3 or 4 minutes.
And as we mentioned before, with the depth of Melbourne United, Dean Vickerman can tinker with lineups, can tinker with players, and see, put a guy in for a couple of minutes. Does he have it? Okay, he doesn't have it. Let's get him out of the lineup. And unfortunately, Illawarra do not have that luxury. And right now, we're at a critical juncture of the game. Melbourne United now up 6 after that free throw. Illawarra will just got to hold on and keep this thing in single digits going into the break.
They just keep coming at you, this Melbourne United team.
They're 5 of 15 in this quarter. They were 10 of 16 in the first quarter. The Hawks only 5 of 15. In this one, 6 of 15.
Justin Tatum wants to talk it over with his team. Led by 5 earlier in the term when it was 34-29. They led by 4 at 41-37. They now trail by 6 at 49-43. With 3:33 remaining here in this second period. Of course, Justin Robinson just called for the unsportsmanlike foul, but he was the hero on Monday night in Wollongong, and he spoke to Nerily Meadows pre-game.
14 from 14, I think it was, from the free throw line the other day. You're not handing out any free cheeseburgers tonight, are you?
I did earlier in the year in Adelaide, so I can't let that happen again. But, I mean, it's just the big-time moments. I love stepping up and hitting those clutch ones, and all I could think about was my mom in my head saying don't miss. So, I mean, grateful for her for teaching me growing up and my dad. So, I mean, just continue to keep that streak going and roll going. So that's what I'm on.
And you clearly keep the family close. Tell me about these bracelets that you've got going on. A little bit of Taylor Swift almost.
Yeah, a little. I'm not a Swiftie, but the middle one's from my neighbor back home in the U.S. and then the outside two are from fans in the Gong. So just trying to put both into it and keep home and the road trip on the way as well.
Bit of inspiration?
Absolutely. I mean, to see people that I guess give a little motivation to, gives it to me without even knowing. So I just kind of wear it with me at all times.
He's a character. He can be a real firecracker for this Illawarra team, and they need it at the moment.
Andrew, do you and Melinda have those little bracelets for each other?
Well, after 33 years of loving bliss, we don't need those tangible physical things to express our love.
And congratulations, you're a grandfather now.
Thank you.
Well done.
Courtney delivered us a grandchild, fantastic.
Hooper?
We're working on it, May, but we had her watching Lauren Jackson put up 38 last night.
Wasn't that a performance?
Whoa. I mean, yeah. Let's talk about that one just briefly. An amazing performance in a Game 3. We've seen her do it at FIBA level, but to see her do it at the age of 42 and the variety of buckets that she can get from deep. Fadeaway Kobe jumpers. Offensive boards, putting it back, an outstanding performance, and that grand final series will be fantastic.
Absolutely it will. Of course, one of our own, and Annalie Maley, involved in that. Terrific to watch that. Justin Robinson hearing it from the Melbourne fans. He was hearing it from the Tassie fans a couple of games ago in that play-in qualifier, the seeding qualifier against Tassie. So he's not the fondest of regard from away supporters, Justin Robinson. What kind of boost does he give their ceiling, Derek, with that kind of performance he put on the other night?
Well, I think,
that's a beautiful find to Clark.
He puts the goggles on.
Well, he's obviously a very confident young man with a villain gene. So I think that type of guy has a tremendous finish by Matthew Dellavedova, looking for a contact. But with that type of confidence, he always thinks he's the best player on the court. And sometimes that is really going to lift your spirits. Other times, not so much. Nice bucket. Look, he's like, give it to me. Bring your energy, crowd.
It was a beautiful pass on a flex cut, and this time he's talking to the fans. He wants to play the villain.
He's barking away. Travers left open from downtown. That won't go. Dellavedova comes up with a loose ball. Out to Golding. You know the rest.
The bounce of the ball can sometimes hurt you. And that time there, it was a lucky break. Finds wide open Chris Golding. This is just too many points already. 2 minutes to go. They've already got 54. They're shooting at 57%. And even more impressive from the three-point line, 8 of 15 for 53%. That is really solid shooting. And we, down the other end, the Hawks just starting to taper on the three-point line. They're only 4 of 12. But you can't expect to be winning playoff games on the road, having to score more than 108, which is the case right now on average.
Well, I mean, from the offensive perspective, though, it's a very sharp game.
Very solid.
Dellavedova on the take. Up among the trees, can't finish. Rebound tipped out to Harvey. Minute 40 remaining in this first half. Melbourne United by 5. 54-49. Great to have you with us. Game 1 of the playoffs in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Beautiful feed from Lee. Finds Peatling underneath.
You know what I think they need to do is try and find a way to get Tyler Harvey more involved. He's only had the 1 field goal attempt. He's got the 2 points from the free throw line. But he's an important piece that you need to find a way to get him going or get him some looks.
Kelly hits over him there. Matthew Dellavedova's playing a really good game with 15 points. Robinson airballs it at the other end. And here is it from John Cain Arena. Travers tried to finish strong.
And you're right, Drew, about Harvey. I agree 100, but right now they've got 51 points. It's almost like they've got one up their sleeve, considering he hasn't been able to contribute much as Clark knocks down a deep 3.
He's a stud.
My, oh my, what a game.
4 of 6 for Gary Clark, 18 points. We're not even at halftime quite yet. Travers got it to Willie underneath, couldn't handle it. Hawks come up with the loose ball. Thought about it long and hard.
Smart play, you're
Didn't
right.
have a blood rush after making one, just settles for the last shot of the half.
Half a second between shot and game clock. Clark to Robinson. Lee all alone in the corner. Bang! Gives the Hawks the lead. Heading into half-time. Hunjung Lee with a big hit.
Wow.
And having trailed by a handful of points For the latter stages of that second quarter, the Hawks go whack, whack, and they take a 1-point lead into the half.
And Andrew, I knew this game was going to be hotly contested, but I did not expect this. Outstanding offensive basketball and perimeter shooting from both teams. Illawarra come in here full of courage and go into the halftime break up 1.
57-56, 113 points combined. Matthew Dellavedova's provided 15 of them. He's with Nerily Meadows.
A high-scoring affair. Matthew Dellavedova, I know you're defensively minded. How do you feel about the way that this is going at the moment, conceding 57 points?
We haven't been good enough defensively. Giving up threes to clock. We got to do better on the boards.
You were just having a chat with the umpire. Can you let us in with the ref?
We got to control what we can control. Thank you.
He's a frustrated man, I've got to say. Matthew Dellavedova wasn't too keen to do that interview, and straight into the room. We are in for an entertaining second half here. Melbourne United on their home turf, 56 points, down by 1 to the Illawarra Hawks. The underdogs, 57 points. We've got all the halftime highlights after this short break.
Future's bright for him. I'm looking for him to be on the Australian team soon to be, because well deserved. But Sam is a young, experienced guy that we had on our team. I like Sam. He's about as old as me, but he's like, just turned 24, and but he's been in the league for a while, so he understands the concepts. He understands the momentums and the crowds and things like that. He's very vocal in the locker room, and just the way he plays and establishes himself on the floor is something that his dominance that we need. So Sam is a great asset to have.
Sam is he's unique because how quiet he is and how humble he is. From the beginning, we had a different relationship. Just, you know, him trying to figure me out, and likewise, just kind of not trying to step on each other's feet, tailored just perfectly how we've kind of grown to be like, you know, 1A, 1B, and just feed off each other in the game and off the court. You know, we've been playing a little golf together, and just our relationship has grown into something like really nice. And I think when it's all said and done this year, I think it'll be a huge piece to both of our lives as far as how well we came together down the stretch.
A high-scoring, fast-paced semi-final going on. It is playoff basketball at its very best. And Justin Tatum was just talking about two men, Sam Froling as well as Gary Clark. And between them, they've got 35 points. Andrew Gaze up by a point, the Hawks at John Cain Arena. But Gary needed to stand up after a quiet one against the Breakers.
Well, he certainly did. 18 points in the first half, and he was able to do it in a variety of different ways, particularly from the three-point line. When he starts knocking those three balls down like he has, it spreads the floor. Drags often will be dragging a big away from the basket, and he's been super efficient the way he's gone about as well. Have a look at the shot chart, 6 of 9 from the field. 4 of 6 from the three-point line is outstanding, and they're going to need every bit of that again in the second half, you would think, Derek.
Well, they certainly will, but from the Melbourne United perspective, Andrew, I wouldn't be surprised if they start to get up and into Gary Clark. He came into the game with a foot complaint, and I think they're letting him off the hook at the moment by not putting more pressure, making him put the ball on the deck and see if he can make plays off the bounce.
One man that we didn't think would be leading the scoring for Melbourne United was Matthew Dellavedova. He has come out absolutely firing, 15 points, 3 steals as well, and he was fired up when I tried to talk to him, Gazy.
Well, as he should be. There's a lot at stake, and he knows that team players are going to go underneath and screens and invite him to shoot the three ball, but he has let it fly. And once he made those first couple, his confidence really lifted. He's a perfect 3 of 3 from the field. He's got the 15 points, but it's not just about the shooting with Matthew Dellavedova. It's the passing. It's the 5 assists. It's controlling the tempo. They want to play up tempo, and he pushes it down the floor and can find people. Plays with a really high basketball IQ, and he's having an outstanding game where you see the numbers.
Well, I thought in the second half of the season, Andrew, we had seen the best version of Matthew Dellavedova as a lead guard that we've seen in the NBL. In fact, I think he's playing the best basketball he's played in the past 3 seasons. Now, if he can add this three-point shot consistently, that's what's going to make Melbourne United almost unbeatable.
But right now he's frustrated because he loves the defensive side of the game. And right now, these two teams are shooting 64% from the field. The Hawks, 43% from the three-point line. We've got Melbourne United shooting 57% from the field and 53% from the perimeter. This is extraordinary stuff. And the great news is the action just keeps on coming in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Tomorrow night, we head west. It is Perth Wildcats taking on the Tasmanian Jack Jumpers, who of course made their way into these playoffs by getting the better of the Illawarra Hawks. So they're coming in with a bit of form. Perth Wildcats are well rested. Does that help? Does that hinder? We're waiting to see what happens after this short break, Gazy.
Yeah, well, that's going to be a fantastic series. The Jack Jumpers are playing some very good basketball at the right time of the season. They've got a lot of different ways in which they can beat you. Milton Doyle's a star. Will Magnay's playing the best basketball we've seen. And Jack McVeigh is just the all-body language team, putting points on the board, owning the glass, doing it all, so they're a lot of fun to watch.
Make sure you drink enough coffee at around dinner time so you can stay up late for that game. I know how you like to go to bed at 9 p.m.
56 to 57. I've got to get these guys to stop talking because we have an action-packed second half coming right up. The Hawks, with the last shot of that first half, have hit the lead. It is an extraordinary game so far. What can we expect next? conversations at halftime?
Yeah, just sticking to the game plan. You know, we don't want Gary Clark shooting open threes, and we let him have too many of those, and he punished us. Froling was a problem early. I think we took care of that, but cleaning up their points in the paint and just running Clark off the three, I think, is a big one for us.
A really high-scoring affair. That can't be pleasing Dean Vickerman. He loves the defence side of the game.
Well, we love the offense so far. We've been able to score. When we get stops, we get out and run. We look really good at that end of the floor. We just got to be able to get more stops, which will create even better offense.
What is the key to stopping them and to make sure that somebody like a Matthew Dellavedova keeps on delivering the way that he is at the moment offensively?
Yeah, Delly's been huge, both ends of the floor. But like I said, just cleaning up those little game plan errors and just making sure we stick to the plan and know who we want shooting the ball and where we want them shooting it. We've got to live with something, but we've got to stick to the plan.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Great to have access with both teams here. Eddie Betts, NBL Finals ambassador, AFL star over many years with the Carlton and the Adelaide football clubs, in the house this evening, sitting courtside, enjoying it. And why not? It is a superb game. It is closely poised. It's everything you could want, as long as you're an offensive savant at half-time. 57-56. If you like defence, this is not the game.
Well, I'm not so sure it's quite that bad. I just think it's been really high offensive shooting and the offensive plays they're getting through, the way in which they're sharing the ball. Sure, there's some room for improvement on the deep defensive end, but I think that both these teams have been looking at certain elements of their game plan and just trying to execute a little better, which we saw from Reece Carter. And you know, you talk about Matthew Dellavedova, the job that he's also done on Tyler Harvey has been special.
Start of this third quarter, end of third quarter, start of fourth. Vital 2-minute patches in this game.
Oh, for sure. For sure, and it's coming out of this halftime break, the teams have had a time to talk about it and see where they might be able to make some small adjustments. You're never going to go in there and completely transform your game plan at a halftime break, but you can put some points of emphasis, and that would not have been one of them. Let Tyler Harvey shoot wide open from the three-point line was not part of the discussion for the Melbourne United at the halftime break.
Oh, first field goal for the game for Tyler Harvey.
And that's a good call, Joel.
And it was the back screen. The back screen into a shuffle cut. They help out, and Tyler Harvey, complete breakdown in the communication, knocks it down to the three ball.
And it's interesting that JLA doesn't get the start in this second half. They've gone with a 40.
Giving them some good minutes so far. Rolling from the free throw line, knocks that one down. So the Hawks closed the first half on back-to-back threes. They opened the second half with another 5 points. They've scored the last 11 of the game, and they lead by 6. Illy from outside. He can't stop the run. In these critical moments either side of half-time, a swaying in the direction of the visitors. The 4 seed up against the 1 seed. Remember, this is a team with a coaching change midway through the season.
Oh, give me a spell.
Froling hits another one. He's got 21 now for Sam Froling.
His touch, Andrew, I know you just almost lost your mind right there because you had a good roll, but if you do the right things in life, Andrew, you get breaks to go your way.
Well, he got one, and it's he's just playing with confidence, and he's got that feeling, which we all love, where anything you throw up, you just feel like it's going to go in.
Travers can't hit from outside.
We might see an early timeout if we see a basket here. Oh, dear.
Clark feet set. Dean Vickerman thought about it. He thought that might have been down, and he was going to have to talk things over with his team. Illy underneath the hoop. Puts the body into Harvey.
Andrew, their offense looks disgusting right now after being so good in the first half.
Big block from Hookporty.
They need some transition opportunities.
It's looked clunky in the half court coming out of this halftime break.
Dellavedova taking it right at Froling. Can't hit the first time. Hickey got the block the second time, but also got a piece of Daly.
Great hustle. Blocks the shot. Almost gets back and recovers. We'll look at the Harvey Norman replay. Hookporty, one of the best rim protectors and defensive players in the competition. Froling does a good job of contesting there. Hickey, good hustle. Ooh. Delhi does a great job of selling it.
Again, it wasn't anything sophisticated about that. That was just Matthew Dellavedova, head down, powering into the basket. And lucky enough to get his own rebound.
Opens the account for Melbourne United in this second half. It's taken 2 minutes and 40 seconds for them to get going. Kelly misses the second, but Travers puts it back in.
Well, they're the plays you can't have. Offensive rebounds off a free throw. Nothing frustrates coaches more than an offensive board off a free throw.
Travers has 13 for Melbourne United. Gary Clark takes it right at him. Travers with some good defense. Clark keeps it alive and puts his shot back in. Big plays on the glass at both ends. Hawks by 7. Equal biggest lead of the game for either side. Travers called for a jump ball in the end. He got locked up.
Andrew, not that either one of us should comment so highly about this, but great defensive instincts by Davo Hickey. Clark,
the energy.
Great hustle there.
He knew he was going to miss, knew where the ball was going, and got to the right place at the right time.
Become beyond a novelty now, the Davo Hickey experience. It's just
it's
reliable, real, but it's great fun. He puts it all out there every time he steps on the floor. Harvey with the runner, banks that home. That is a pretty move. The Hawks out by a game-high 9.
Well, that's a special shot because you know his first option was to go to the floater. He realized it was going to be highly contested. He hitched it and shot a little running jumper off the glass.
Reinforcements getting set for Melbourne United. Golding thought about it. Fires it up from the corner. Delhi for 3. Yes!
He's carrying right now, Matthew Dellavedova. Substitutions coming in. Illawarra Chul and Ian Clark. So they bring in a whole bunch of offense. And Delhi wide open, knocks down the 3-ball, but
and Andrew, the tempo of this jumper is much better. I'm still not in love with the release and the mechanics, but he's 4-4 tonight from the 3, 19 points, and single-handedly keeping them alive.
They don't put pictures on the box score, and Delhi will take all that he can get at this stage. Swakala Bullock is denied by Joe Illawarra Chul.
Can I have your attention, please?
Powerful block.
Easy, fellas.
and I love the patience of Tyler Harvey. As we mentioned, only under 1 field goal attempt, but played 15 minutes, but didn't look stressed, wasn't forcing the issue, wasn't panicking, and now it's just coming together for him in the second half.
Timely, Andrew.
3 of 3.
Timely comment. And the thing about it is we are seeing the maturity right in front of us, especially since Justin Tatum took over. He is a significantly better basketball player now.
He's making better decisions. Previously, he tried to take matters into his hands a lot more.
Delhi for another one. Again, Matthew Dellavedova's got 22.
And Delhi looked like he got a little chirpy too. Might have had a little something to say to the Illawarra bench.
Peatling with a beautiful finish with the left hand.
Strong.
And slick with it too. Got that ball extended outside his frame with his left hand.
Clark at the other end.
It's high quality stuff out here. These guys are really sharp now. Whoever can string together 3 minutes of outstanding defensive basketball will take this game over.
But the coaches, when you got to live with certain things, but Ian Clark coming off that drag screen.
He's not getting that shot. You got to take that away, Drew.
Harvey's doing the best he can. There you see the strategy just stunting at Matthew Dellavedova rather than a full rotation.
Lee Robinson, Clark, Blanchfield, Peatling out there for the Hawks. Clark's 3 balls short. Blanchfield recycles it. Foul underneath, and it's going on Illawarra Chul.
His finger accidentally got caught. He didn't grab you. His finger
3
got caught.
on JLA.
I wouldn't call that foul on you either. I hate you jumping away and then there's separation is called. Okay.
Gary Clark
I can't see when you're jumping his finger. No.
talking about his jersey getting grabbed.
No effect on the play.
And there you heard the response, said no, he didn't grab. It was just a finger getting caught in his jersey. That is a foul on Joe Illawarra. The hook and the pull down.
Lee from the corner. Oh. Another 3 for Lee. And the Hawks again stretch that lead back out to 8. Ian Clark at the other end. He can't hit. Robinson likes the look of the open floor. End of Gary Clark. Just missed the layup. Daly pulls up. Keeps it alive. Out to Clark. He can't hit. Bowen will recycle it. This time Clark connects.
Scramble play. And they left Ian Clark wide open. Good find by Bowen.
Robinson hearing the jeers again. 76-70. Joel Peterson, Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, Nerily Meadows with you. Game 1 of the NBL playoffs. Perth and Tassie tomorrow night. Lee outside once more.
Todd Blanchfield's doing a good job of getting feet in the paint, collapsing the defense, and finding shooters.
United have won their past 7 games here. Hawks haven't won here since April 2022. Dellavedova with the hand in on Robinson. Called for the foul.
Back in that game, I think that was Stuart Reith with 18 and 10. And he's taken his talents to the NBA with the Portland Trailblazers, where he's putting up some big numbers as well.
Doing some great things.
Someone who's really developed his game, Andrew. I never thought that he'd be able to post these types of numbers. But you stay at it, you continue to develop aspects of your game that are important in the NBA.
Lee gets blocked, second time, connects, and the foul for Hyunjung Lee.
Hyunjung Lee is just more than just a shooter, Andrew. He does a good job moving away from the ball. He's smart, he's high energy, and look at him, he's got good hands, stays with it. At about 6'7".
Elite, 201, thereabouts, 202 even. He's a lot taller than you think.
Went to the Global Academy in Canberra.
Yeah, and really does well off the ball. Like you say, not just with the ball and not just a straight catch and shoot guy.
Find his stats and so many others via the NBL app. Of course, jump on the QR code on your screen in the App Store, Google Play. All the live stats, NBL Plus, all the access to behind-the-scenes content and more. Hawks by 9. Ian Clark wants to cut into that. Robinson racing up the floor. Neither team led by double digits in the game. And Illy with the thievery. It looks so easy for Shea Illy.
That's a big possession right there.
What about the hands?
Great hand.
Shea Illy just reaches across without fouling and does it so quick.
Made a fine art of it. The Defensive Player of the Year. Award winners on both sides of the court. Illawarra Chula denies Sam Froling. Some big rim protection in this third period already for Melbourne United, and a turnover for United as well. Robinson the other way. Able to finish.
These transition opportunities, Drew, are invaluable right now, and just ticking that scoreboard over. Right now, the clock starts to become a factor.
There's an element of panic about the offense. It's all one-on-one now. They get it that time with Matthew Dellavedova, but everything's coming off the dribble and not a lot of man movement before getting to that penetration. And they're always going up against a pretty well-established Illawarra Hawks defense.
Delhi's got 24. Frustrated as the foul's called. Chris Goldie getting set to check back in for United. Delhi's 24 is a season best, and he is heading straight back toward the locker room.
Wow. I don't know whether he heard something there that we weren't aware of, but you're right, he looked like he was angry, but maybe it was more the emotion of pain, and he's gone
Here we go. All right, let's go, guys. 2 shots.
Underneath, didn't even go to the bench.
Sam Froling will go to the line to shoot these 2 free throws. 9-11 from the field. And he has, I'm going to say, effectively neutralized the 2 Melbourne bigs. In fact, he's made Haporti almost irrelevant in this game. Haporti only has 5 points in 12 minutes.
Misses the first, Froling, and the second. It'll be burgers in Melbourne. Code word is playoffs. And that's what playoff pressure can do. Jump on the NBL app. Hit to the Hungry Jacks. Logo as Lee hits another one from downtown. He has come to play in this third period.
Well, Dean Vickerman's got he's one of his small lineups where he's got Travers playing the 4, and he's probably going to have to guard Froling. And that's going to be a tough assignment just because of size. And again, not a lot of sophistication, just ISO ball, one-on-one action, and a really poor offensive set, given the circumstances.
Yeah, no doubt. And Kyle Adam got the assist, and he makes a cameo in this game after having sparse minutes throughout his stint in the regular season.
It's his third appearance, Kyle Adnam. A double-digit lead for the Hawks. Lee can't quite add to it there. Ball out of court. Let's check in courtside with Nerily Meadows. Nez, what did you see of Daly's exit?
Matthew Dellavedova was furious as he went behind the scenes. They shut the door immediately, but he's getting work done on his right calf. I believe it's as much anger and frustration, though, that's seen him going behind the scenes. Not too concerned about that injury, but I'll keep you updated when he comes back out.
Thanks, Nez. 2-second difference, shot and game clock. The Hawks have come through the playoff game, or the play-in game. On the road against United, they lead by double digits. Time winding down in the third. Clark can't hit. Peatling from full court. And the Hawks turn for home in this extraordinary campaign with a 10-point lead going into the final term. Illawarra 84, Melbourne 74. Massive final quarter is coming up. Three-quarter time at John Cain Arena. Melbourne United's been the benchmark, the pinnacle all season long. And a team that fired their coach mid-season, scraped into the playoffs, made it through the play-in game, leads them by 10 points with a quarter to go. It is Illawarra 84, Melbourne United 74 at three-quarter time. Derek Rucker and Andrew Gaze. There'd be a lot of United fans that didn't have this on their bingo card.
Well, it is, and they're going to have to see some changes on what they're doing on the offensive end. They just looked a little erratic. And we didn't see much of what we just seen here. A few passes, a couple of cuts before they get to their penetration and action on the rim. And they
Dellavedova is a one-man show.
He is, and wide open off the missed shot again. But he has kept them in touch.
His NBL best was 33 against the Hawks a couple of seasons ago. He's got a season-high 27. And he might need that kind of performance in the 30s to get them across the line. Froling with 3 on the shot clock. Frem Froling outside cans the triple. He's 5 of 6 on the season from there.
Make no mistake, he can shoot that shot. I've watched him since he was a teenager be able to knock that shot down. And right now, great patience and belief from the Illawarra Hawks. They feel right now, Drewy, that they're the better team.
Well, they are.
87 points on the board to this stage. They led by a point at quarter time, by 4 at half time, by 4 at quarter time, by 10 at three-quarter time. And they hold that double-digit lead at the moment. And United are on the back foot. Travers denies Froling out of court. Let's check in with Merrily Meadows.
Ian Clark was so frustrated at that quarter-time address. He was slamming double drinks down on the table. Delhi, we saw, was absolutely fuming. They looked rattled at home. Dean Vickerman really pointing out those second-chance points as well. They've conceded 21 second-chance points for this game. He's not happy, Vickerman.
Sloppy turnover from the Hawks. Opens the door for United. They do the same at the other end. Peatling the outlet pass to Wani. Swakala Bullock. He can't finish.
Big blown opportunity there, Drew. Went with the wrong type of finish. Need to be more at the cup instead of drifting away.
See, they just got,
leaves it short.
You got 3 guys standing around doing nothing, and it's yeah, you got a tough one-on-one assignment, but the Illawarra Hawks are playing some great defense. They penetrate in, and the release pass hasn't been there. It's just hasn't been smooth on the offensive end.
Travers with another big block, this time on Peatling. Swakala Bullock, shot clock winding down, massive hit.
Oh dear.
And Dean Vickerman looks down at the hardwood, takes a big deep breath in and goes, oh boy. Timeout, Hawks by 13.
What a moment right here in John Cain Arena. Off of a scramble scenario, the ball winds up with Swakala Bullock and Andrew. He makes no mistake, squares that thing up, knocks it down from 3. He's got 10 points, a couple of assists. He made up for that transition play where I felt he didn't go with the right type of finish. But I would have never imagined we'd be saying the Hawks are up 13 at this point.
No, certainly not. And that Swakala Bullock 3-ball are the ones you love to have. There was a second left on the shot clock. He didn't have to think about, should I take this or shouldn't I take this? He had no other choice but to take it. And that relieves a lot of the burden out of your head. And as such, he was able to knock it down. And this 13-point lead, this next 2 minutes, Derek, will decide the game.
Hawks 90 to United 77. The Hawks came through the regular season in 4th. United won 20 games, finished top, take the #1 seed into the playoffs, and a big 3 from Wani Swakala Bullock has Justin Tatum's team up by 13.
And he gives them the shush as well. And like I said,
too early for that one, Drew?
A little too early.
Okay.
But they're in the box seat, and they're the shots you love to have, particularly if you're not all that used to the 3-ball. The one you have to take. Got no choice. Second left on the shot clock.
No Delhi in the lineup now. Let's see how this Melbourne United offense reacts.
Golding misses the 3, and it'll be a Hawks ball going back the other way. Merrily Meadows was listening in to Dean Vickerman at that timeout.
And this is the time where you really need your leaders, your veterans. Ian Clark has never lost a playoff game, and his advice to his teammates at that timeout was we're not going to get 10 points in one possession. So he's trying to implore his teammates to dig in, play by play, moment by moment.
Harvey for three. 16-point Hawk lead. This is extraordinary.
Just when you thought Tyler Harvey was out of it in the first half, shows the patience and gets the reward. He's up to 13.
Rolling a big play at the other end. Clark. Rolling had it tipped away, lost control. It'll go back in dark blue.
Derek, they got 6:41 remaining. Tyler Harvey starting to see it like a hula hoop, and everything falling for the Illawarra Hawks. 50% from three, 52%. This next 2 minutes could decide the game.
Hey, Drew, panic quotient on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being amazing.
Well, there's a lot of panic right now with Melbourne United. And
they needed that one.
They did, and although there was no difference, it's just get it to someone, dribble it around, everything coming off the dribble, a lot of standing around, not a lot of off-the-ball movement with their offensive sets.
They just haven't made Golding a focal point enough, and they're just getting torched down there with penetration.
7th block at the other end. Hickey almost blocked Illy. He was good enough to hold the finish. And now Justin Tatum tries to seize any momentum that United may have been gathering.
Well, they need some cheap ones. And that time they get one from Shea Illy. Great, and again from Hickey with the rundown. And the timing by Illy. He knew that he had the athlete coming and just held it a little bit on the shot to give him some space.
So, United trail 81 to 93. The Hawks have led by as many as 16 earlier in this term. It's all in front of the regular season champs. Let's listen in to Dean Vickerman.
Possessions right now, all right? At some point, we might have to try and speed them up where we can get disruption up the floor right now. Be aggressive with it, all right? Let's go a red 40 on this one, all right? Let's go aggressive on this first one, then try and speed them up a little bit and go. Hey, I love on a walk up or a little, we got to play with pace right now. All right, the high punch and play and space and keep attacking is fucking really good. If you get into some zooms on that cut, we go.
So there's some real urgency about this now for Melbourne United. They won all 3 games against Illawarra in the regular season. They've won their past 7 in this venue. And they're past 4 against the Hawks overall. And they are well and truly on the back foot with 6 minutes to go.
And it's a different type of pressure that game 1 at home. The crowd hasn't been in the building for a while. The fans are a bit uncertain how to act. They're trying to find their rhythm again. Now they find their team, as Chris Golding said, with their backs actually against the wall, Drew.
And they get a steal. The double team in the backcourt. Clark being asked to play playmaker, and they double team him. So Illawarra the last couple of possessions just making some bad choices.
Lualachul Jr., Clark, Travers, Golding, Illy out there for United. Harvey, Robertson, Hickey, Clark and Froling for the Hawks. Froling's called for the foul on a strong move from Luke Travers to the cup. And the West Australian will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple.
It's a good pass, and gee.
Hands part of the ball, Drew.
A lot of...
Did we Google it?
Well, you can go ahead, knock yourself out and Google it. But it's...
Drew's got 6 devices set up here, so I thought he would have been on it.
I'm just trying to get all the data in place. Deep, and can't afford to be missing free throws where they've had their struggles. 9 of 16, make that 10 of 17. So they've left a few out there.
8 of 10 at the line, the Hawks. And lead by 11, Illawarra in enemy territory against the #1 seed. Sam Froling's called for a walk. And now some things starting to break the way of the home team.
Well, after that timeout, been impressed with the defensive effort by Melbourne United. They have raised their intensity level to the required level, and offense starting to click.
Chris Golding into double figures with 11. Dellavedova has 27, a season high. Travers has 14. The other end, Clark's got 20. Froling 24, a season high for him. They come up empty again, the Hawks. United out and running. Illy all the way through his foul.
Andrew, I wouldn't be surprised to see Young Jung Lee or Swakala Bullock get back into the game. They just need to change this rotation. It's actually going to be the latter. He'll check in for William Hickey, but this is a nice move right here as we look at the Harvey Norman replay. Drew, we know how tough that shot is to stop on a dime, reload and fire over a defender.
There's the reach in by Robinson as well. The last couple of minutes, Melbourne United not seeing those bodies when they drive to the basket as much as they did throughout most of the game.
So Shea Illy at the line for a couple. Just under 75% on the season from the stripe. Bottom the net with the first. Matthew Dellavedova getting set to check back into the game. Swakala Bullock, Harvey, Robinson, Clark, Froling out there for the Hawks. Game one of this NBL playoff series. 85-93, the Hawks lead it. Joel Peterson, Andrew Gaze, Derek Rucker and Nerily Meadows with you. And Illy takes a seat after canning both at the free throw line. And the leading scorer in the game, Matthew Dellavedova, comes back into the action. He is 6 of 7 from downtown, 27, 4 rebounds, 5 assists.
Melbourne United surprisingly being defeated on the board so far.
More than halfway gone in this final term. Game 2 Sunday in Illawarra. Will the Hawks head there with a series advantage? Harvey from way downtown. The lead is 7. It was as many as 16 earlier in the term. Clark makes it 5 points the gap. Here they come.
The switch has been flicked for Melbourne United at both ends of the floor.
An 11-0 run, Drewy. 4 minutes remaining. Can the Hawks hold off a charging United? Robinson from outside is fouled.
It's a bad foul. Didn't need it. Just a hard closeout. Robinson, I know he made those 2 in the last quarter against the New Zealand Breakers, but just needed to be contested and a little too much by Clark. Have a look. And there it is, right on the elbow.
And a potentially massive play in game 1 of this series. That could have lasting ramifications.
Of course it can. Robinson, on the season, only a 30% three-point shooter.
But Drew, we remember what happens most recently best.
That's it. But you should have remembered the 14 from 14 from the free throw line just as much as you did the 2 of 2 from the three-point line.
He came into this 82 of 100 at the foul line. My maths would say that's 82%.
Yeah, we can figure that one out.
And
well done.
Oh, thanks, Drewy.
Leave those ones for me, please.
So it's back to an 8-point game. Under 4 minutes remaining. United have come back from 16 down in this final term. The Hawks have come out of the play-in game on Monday. Golding for 3. That is huge!
Tough shot. Much needed by Golding.
5-point game. Young Jung Lee now for the Hawks. Out there with Robinson, Clark, Peatling and Swakala Bullock. Robinson for 3. Chance to make it a 1-possession game. Delhi. JLA pulls it down. He's fouled trying to put it back up. A little bit of afters as well.
I had 3 fouling. I don't have anything else.
Not sure how long they're going to be able to give Froling a rest as well, because here we see Golding. That's a tough shot. Head fake, Swakala-Bullock only off balance ever so slightly. But that last play around the rim, the extra size of Froling
Andrew,
would
I
have been
agree.
helpful.
Right now, it's time. Sam Froling must enter the game, as well as Tyler Harvey. With 3:12 remaining, unless something's going on we're not aware of, but even if something is going on.
Joe Illawarra 0 of 3 from the three-point line, and they've done a great job on him. Only the 4 points, only had the 5 field goal attempts, 2 of 5 from the field as well.
So the margin is 4. And Robinson continues to hear it from the home crowd. Clark now on the right block. A little bit strong. Rebound, Luala-Chul. Illy puts his head down.
Ground ball.
JLA gets it to go. It's a 2-point game. Lee's pulled up a little bit sore, clasping at that right ankle. And here comes Sam Froling.
There we see. Oh, Lee's ankle, the right one just got caught up in Illy as he fell on it.
Stopped it immediately. So it's going back to 24 on the shot clock. That's how it is.
Just got the fumble. The Hawks wanted a travel.
Thank you. White. Here we go.
This has been
Stop the play dead, but if after a basket you can run here.
a tremendous recovery by Melbourne United. 16 points down. And the way in which they've made the adjustments at both ends of the floor.
Almost the steal. Since they trailed by 16, it's been 17-3 the scoring the way of Melbourne United. It was 77-93. Harvey with the delicate touch.
Deft touch. Great shot going right. Gets it back over to his left hand for the floater.
Dellavedova with the find to Golding.
High talent and skill levels right now on display, Andrew.
27-6 for Delhi, 16 for Golding. 2-point ball game, just over 2 minutes remaining. This is prime time playoff basketball at its very, very best. Who stands up in these moments? Every one of them matters. Froling misses.
Well, they got the switch. Clark had Illy on him and they couldn't get him the ball. Had the size advantage.
Over.
Dellavedova puts the head down. Travers ties it up with a thunderous jam.
Outstanding penetration by Matthew Dellavedova. Shrugged off the defender with the left upper body. Could have been a push-off. Gets it to Travers for the dunk.
Minute and a half left. Scores tied at 98. United trailed by 16 points. Swakala-Bullock in the corner, can't hit.
Wrong guy to be taking the shot at that stage.
Robinson with a big defensive play. Offensive foul.
Oh my. Oh my. It was a wide open layup. There's been a pass. And we'll have to have a look at that one again. Maybe taking the defender out. Let's have a look.
Andrew, I'm sorry, that is not a foul in my opinion.
At this stage of the game. Well, at any stage
Don't
of the
just say
game.
at this stage of the game, either support me or disagree with me. Where are you at?
That, to me, should not have been called.
Okay, let's see what happens. Can we review this, Joel?
A timeout was called for Melbourne. So Dean Vickerman called the timeout at 98 apiece.
So at both ends of the floor, Delhi wants a flop and doesn't get it. And down the other end, they get an interesting one, an offensive foul, taking out Chris Golding.
A minute 15 remaining.
Wow.
It was 93-77. A couple of minutes into this quarter. Since then, Melbourne United have scored 21 of the next 26 points.
Yeah, and you've got to give Melbourne United credit, the composure, the resilience after the pressure they're under because of the regular season they had, and to be able to find a way to get back in it and now put themselves with a chance to go ahead with a minute to go.
And you look at the stats, Drew, it's such an even game. The Hawks are better from the free throw line. Melbourne United have caught up on the rebounding side, but Melbourne United have 7 blocked shots to the Hawks 1.
Well, maybe this is a defense and offense different lineup, but Harvey comes out of the game. Right now, he's one of the more confident ones on the offensive end.
Dellavedova, Golding, Joe Luala-Chill Jr., Clark and Travers out there for United. Tied at 98 apiece. Clark, the birthday boy, can't hit. Daly's hit 6 threes already. Can't make it a 7. And the Hawks secure the rock with under a minute remaining. Edge of your seat stuff. A nail-biter in Melbourne. Game 1 of this playoff series.
We've got plenty of time. 10 seconds still left.
Robinson to Froling, can't connect. Hickey keeps it alive. New 14 for the Hawks. Hanged and his. Huge from Hickey.
Unbelievable nose for the basketball. Elevates, gets up with contact also, and finishes off the glass.
2-point Hawks lead. Turnover Melbourne. Travers and Golding can't connect. And Chris Golding is left sprawled on the hardwood.
Well, Hickey goes out. They bring back Harvey for the offense, but this is the play. In traffic, just leaning away to create that separation. They bring Kyle Adnam in as well. They want a free throw shooter. They know that if Froling gets it, they'll foul him. He hasn't been a reliable free throw shooter. So they bring Kyle Adnam across his career and a high percentage free throw shooter.
Adnam, Robinson, Harvey, Swakala, Bullock and Clark. Adnam tosses it toward Clark. He and Luala-Chill Jr. were locked up. There's a foul on the play. It's a Hawks ball.
Well, I thought there was a lot of holding of Clark anyway. See the hold there? Look at Luala-Chill. That's a foul. That's
out of bounds.
Goes uncalled.
So no foul on the play in the end. The whistle was just because it went out of bounds.
Look, and then there's the grab of the shirt. Oh,
almost
my.
taking his jersey off.
They weren't in the bonus anyway, but if it had been called before the pass is released, it's not only, it's for 2 free throws.
Justin Tatum wants timeout with 17.1 remaining.
Could have been an unsportsmanlike with if the ball hadn't have been inbounds, and it's 2 in the sideline. They're reviewing this, and gee, if Illawarra don't come up with this, there's no justice, because there is not a more clear-cut foul that you would want to see. There's the hole.
The foul's committed right there, so technically
it's 2 in possession.
Correct.
Because the ball hasn't been inbounds and we're in your last 2 minutes. There's another foul, another hold, a grab of the jersey, but who does it go off? There's Joe Luala-Chill. Yeah, that's a Hawks ball. He's out of bounds when he hits that in.
Back to the foul, though. It was one long, persistent foul, Joel. It's not like JLA ever broke contact and ever ceased fouling.
It was just a vice grip that Gary Clark couldn't get out of.
Now, the problem you've got now, you've got Kyle Adnam, and he was the inbounder.
Drew, he can't be in the game right now. He's played 3 more minutes this season than you. Well, he can't be in the game.
He's there because he can
I know. He can't be in the game right now, Drew. You've got Will Hickey over there.
You've got Sam Froling is your best player in the game. He might be on the floor. Sometimes you can over-situationalize things.
I don't like the fact that he's also inbounding because you've got a small guy trying to inbound it against a lot of ball pressure.
Wow. It's Justin Tatum's team. He knows it better than us.
We're under review. You can't have a timeout. Hang on a second here, please. There was no timeout charge to Illawarra. We were in the review process. Their timeout is reinstated.
So there you go from Michael Ayler. The timeout reinstated because of the review. There was no timeout charge to the Hawks. They've still got 2. Melbourne United have got 1. We've got 17 seconds remaining and a Hawks ball. This time Adnam does get it into Clark, and this time there is a definite foul.
Well, they're going to have to kill some more time here. Because you look at the fouls, that's only their second for the quarter, so they've got to commit another 2 to get to 4 and then another 1 to get to the bonus, so they should be able to eat up some clock.
So the Hawks going with Harvey, Robinson, Clark, Swakala, Bullock and Adnam. It's Joe Luala-Chul Jr., Dellavedova, Travers, Golding and Illy for Melbourne United. 2-point lead to the Hawks. Fought their way through the play-in game on Monday against the home side 1 seed turnover. It is a Hawks turnover. Dellavedova off to Golding. Can he get to the hoop? Yes, he can! Ties it up at 100. And it is 100% pandemonium at John Cain Arena.
The ball pressure. Kyle Adnam, a little guy trying to inbound the ball. Excellent denial by Melbourne United. But you look, you got Travers all over him. And he just panics. Kyle Adnam, that 5 seconds, he might have had another second or 2. But you get rushed up when the game's on the line.
And Chris Golding knows exactly what to do. Obviously, Illawarra anticipated him going for the home run 3 ball. Instead, he goes to the cup, gets the nice bounce off the backboard.
Woo. And now we've got 4 seconds. We've got a Hawks ball, and Justin Tatum needs to draw something up. So what does he go to?
Well, I have to get the ball into Gary Clark or Tyler Harvey's hands. Tyler Harvey has the track record in these situations, Andrew, of delivering big time.
Plus, he can create his shots. 4 seconds is more than enough time. And don't discount a misdirection. You've still got a chance for a pass, inbounds, and another pass. So there are some options, but you're right. Brown and Harvey should be the priorities. And they make the change with now Todd Blanchfield coming in, and he is likely to be the inbounder.
So 4 seconds remaining, tied at 100 in Game 1 of the NBL 24 playoffs. Melbourne United 11-3 at home this season, have won their past 7. Robinson, Blanchfield, Clark, Harvey, Lee is the 5 for the Hawks. 4 seconds remaining. Can Robinson be the hero? Clark comes up with it. They wave it off. And we've got free basketball on night 1 of the playoffs. We are headed to overtime.
Well, they've been given a second life, Melbourne United. Illawarra Hawks with 16 points up. They get it to Robinson, and to me, that's not one of the first 2 priorities, but it seemed like they wanted to go to him, Derek.
And he obviously felt confident with what he was going to be able to achieve, but you've got a guy over there in Tyler Harvey. I really want to see him try and make a play in that situation. The guy lives for that moment, as now Justin Tatum faces a challenge of trying to get his team emotionally up for this extra 5-minute period, knowing deep in their minds, Andrew, there's a belief that we let this game get away.
And we've seen this in their game against Tasmania, the double overtime where they had the game, lost the game, then had the game. So they've been in this situation before, and this is what requires great mental strength to stay with it, but momentum all with Melbourne United, because they were a bucket or two from being completely shut out when they're 16 points down, and there's a timeout, and they crank up their D and then start to become a whole lot more efficient on the offensive end. Dellavedova with the 27. He is having one of his better, if not best, game in the NBL.
Andrew, you look in that Melbourne United huddle and look at the superstar, Chris Goulding. You recognize that gaze. Well, the look of a legend. It's a look of, give me this moment, I will make it happen.
Well, he made a good choice, because you're right. You could have had a tendency just to go for the 3 ball and win it, but he saw the opening and got to the rim and was able to finish it.
Let's check in with Nerily Meadows.
You spoke of Chris Goulding. He gathered the troops in close, and he said we had 18 days off. It took us 3 quarters to get going. The message there is United have the legs. They are pumped up, boys. This is some comeback.
16 points was the margin at 77-93. United tore back into this game, as a champion side does. And now we go to the extra period of 5 minutes, and it's gut check time. Who's got the steel? Who's got the minerals? Who's got the fortitude from here to hang on and head to a Game 2 Sunday in Illawarra with a 1-0 lead in this playoff series? Robinson missed the 3 that could have put it away. He can't hit to start OT.
Robinson 3 of 13, hasn't been able to find the range. Work! Score!
Dellavedova's got 27. He's 6 of 9 from downtown. It's been a masterful performance from the man from Maryborough.
Good. Get out there, get out. Good.
2 on the shot clock. Somehow he found Travers underneath.
Robinson just in the wrong spot. He was playing behind and gave Dellavedova the bailout pass.
(27-8) for Daly. Clark with the 3 ball. That won't go.
And Travers has been sensational on Clark in the second half. Just tightened up his stance distance-wise, got up and in a little bit, made life a little bit less comfortable.
Illy with the layup. Now they're really rolling, United.
Trouble, Drew.
Yeah, there's a tenderness about what Illawarra are doing at this end of the floor.
Minute and a half gone in this overtime period. United by 4. Clark left corner. Thought about it. Loses the ball. Illy underneath to Travers. 6-point lead United, who have really come to play when it's mattered most.
One of the key figures in this comeback has been Luke Travers, a property of the Cleveland Cavaliers, a definite NBA prospect at that length, height, intelligence, not only good offensive plays, but his defense in this second half and overtime period on Clark has been vital.
How quickly it's transformed from 4 minutes in, what was there, 6 and a bit minutes to go. Significant lead to the Illawarra Hawks, and the transformation has been stark, and there is an element of deer in the headlights for the Illawarra Hawks right now. Unable to get stops, giving up relatively easy action at the rim, and down the offensive end just completely lost their rhythm.
Landrew, it's the fury of a championship-laden roster right now, and a team that has championship pedigree in Melbourne United. When you face that, we've been there as players, you face that team that knows how to win games and you're still trying to figure it out. It can be a lot to deal with on the road, late game situation, especially when in your mind you thought you had the game won.
Well, and they should have.
Got to find a way now. 3:18 to go.
Hickey comes in. Robinson takes a seat. 3 minutes remaining. The Hawks led by 16 early in the final term. Harvey for 3. That won't go. United's biggest lead in the ball game is 7. It was 54-47 at that stage. Illawarra has it poked away by Gary Clark. Hickey the other way. Made some big time plays already. That's a massive play from Travers.
Is that not a goal, Ken? It looked like it was tremendous athleticism for Travers.
Gary Clark underneath, plays it home. Strong move. That's what they needed.
My word. Struggling to score. Underneath out of bounds play.
Luke Travers with 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 blocks.
8 blocks all up for United. Travers is in the corner. Could be the dagger. Big hit from Luke Travers. 109-102 United. Foul at the other end. Season best for Travers with 23.
There was that underneath out of bounds play.
And this is the problem, Andrew.
You gotta
Will
help
the
it.
depth wear down Illawarra, because it looks like it's happening already. Everything's not as sharp, and obviously the disappointment with what's happened here is playing on them as well.
Harvey's a bit strong with the floater. Another rebound for Travers. 7 in that category. Delvedova's got 27. United have a 7-point lead. Their equal biggest of the game. Daly got it to Illy. 4 on the shot clock for Joe Luala-Chul. Travers can't get 2 more, but was pushed by Froling.
Well, now they're in a desperate situation. They're double teaming everything, and if you can pass out of that, you've got a numerical advantage. And that time they worked their way through it, Melbourne United, and eventually found a wide open, well, not wide open, but trying to play catch up with Travers around the basket. Yeah. You're not going to win too many of those battles.
And Delvedova dribbled to an area on the court where often you're told not to go. But when you're skilled and strong with the basketball, sometimes that can work in your favor by stretching the defense and putting the help defenders in vulnerable positions. And that's what happened there, resulting in the foul on Travers.
You expect great teams like Melbourne United to make a run from 16 down, but to do what they've done here and be up by 8, maybe it's the sign of a truly special team as they win the possession battle here again. Chris Golding fires up this home crowd. It is a game-high 8-point lead for United.
And big respect to Melbourne United, Andrew. They got punched in the face, the throat. They got kicked in the gut.
They were, like I said, I reckon 1 possession away from being 1-0 down. And just the resilience and the composure that they showed when they weren't showing a lot of composure, which dug themselves such a big hole.
Golding for 3. Can't connect on that, but it'll be a United ball. Delvedova.
24 stop. There was no ring. It was on 4.2. There's no reset.
Michael Aylan blows a stop to proceedings.
The ball didn't hit the ring. We had a reset when it was on 4.2 and it stopped and it held and went back to 14. We played center. Can we please look at the 24?
No, we know it doesn't. There's 4 seconds still. That's what they're fixing.
I don't know. I thought this did hit a little piece of... No, it didn't.
And right there, it's on 4.2, and the clock just stuck.
So it's 4.2, and then they reset it. So I think Melbourne, they did get the O board, so I think that they'll get the ball back with around that 4.2 or whatever they come up with.
If it hits the ring, they go 14.
Having a look at this, the replay centre. John Peterson, Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, Nerily Meadows with you. What a night it's been, this first game of the playoff series. Of course, tomorrow night, Perth and Tassie in game 1 of playoff series 1 between the 2 and the 3 seeds heading into this postseason. That's going to be an absolute cracker. And this has been something tremendous, particularly from Melbourne United over the back end of this game. The Hawks have taken it up to them, given them everything they can handle. And United have had the answers so far. Minute 22 remaining. The hosts lead by 8.
And Matthew Dellavedova, Andrew, did enough through 3 quarters to keep the team alive. And then they got the contribution from Travers and Golding and Illy.
And they'll be going back, and the Hawks will be looking at the no call at the end. They'll be looking at the call on Chris Golding. The charge that they call. And so there's a couple of things that the Hawks will look at and maybe think that they didn't get the rub of the green.
Yeah, well, we saw what happened on that long attempt from Adnam to Clark down the floor. And Drew, we know how it is when you haven't done anything in the postseason as a unit. Sometimes the love just doesn't go your way on the calls. But it's not right, but it's happened for decades.
True, but if you, as we see Pete Siddle on screen, he's a Melbourne, well, he flipped off a little bit, didn't he? He was Melbourne United, then he went and played.
Yeah, went and played in Tassie. Shield cricket, but he's back in the Vicks colours now.
But you know what, Illawarra still look at this, and there will be a lot of self-inflicted wounds that they'll look at as well. It's not just about perhaps not getting the benefit of the doubt a couple of times, that they've made some mistakes themselves.
So the end result here is a shot clock violation. It'll be a Hawks ball.
That's a bit rough.
Minute 22 remaining. Harvey Hickey, Gary Clark, Hyunjung Lee, and Sam Froling out there trying to eat into this 8-point lead and provide another miracle in this roller coaster season. Gary Clark strong to the cup, can't finish. Froling rips it down and puts it back in. They're not done yet. They fought and scrapped all season, these Hawks, and they might be able to get the talons out one more time. Under a minute remaining.
10 seconds to go. You don't need to foul now, but you don't need to give up a Dellavedova floater straight down the middle. Got to take away the middle penetration.
29 for Delhi. Hickey back the other way, slashing inside. First time, no. Second time, yes. Davo Hickey continues to provide big plays.
You've got to be set up so you can trap that ball in the backcourt. That's too easy.
Joe Luella-Chul going to the hoop, lays that one in. Back to an 8-point game.
And Andrew, I know this is game 1 on the road for the Hawks, but as uplifting and uniting as that victory was on Monday night, man, this is a disheartening one. They had their hands on dominance in the series.
Well, they can look at it different ways, can't you? Because you can look at it going back to your home court saying, hang on, we played well enough to get 16 points up midway through, a little over half a quarter left of basketball. Clearly their best is good enough.
Valid.
21.8 remaining. Clark denied by Joe Luella-Chul. A 9th block of the game and a 4th for that man. Make it 10 and 5 blocks for JLA.
Well, on a night that their two bigs, Paporti and JLA, are below standard, they did effectively neutralize Sam Froling down the stretch in this overtime period. But what a game. What a game as Dellavedova takes a whack to the grill. Foul on Hickey.
This is looking like a really fun series we've got. Sunday, we go back to Illawarra, and no doubt be a sellout there. They need their fans to get around them because they have earned the right to a full house with what they've done this season and in this game. Sure, they're going to go away with this feeling really dejected of what could have been. but you got to focus on the positives. Not a lot of time, not a huge turnaround time to get ready, but they don't need to do too much. Just figure out their shortcomings in that fourth quarter.
So 10 seconds remaining for the Hawks. They trail by 9. Lee's 3-ball won't go. Travers secures the rebound. And Melbourne United have pulled one out of the fire to take a 1-0 lead in this playoff series. We go to Illawarra on Sunday at the Wynn Entertainment Centre in Wollongong to keep it alive. It took overtime, a comeback from 16 down, and 30 points from Matthew Dellavedova. But United win this 115-106, a season-high output in scoring and a classic to start this playoff series.
It's a special contest. We talk about the league and the quality of the talent, and it was on display here today. And Melbourne United, 20-8, putting it all on the line and giving the Illawarra Hawks one massive head start and finding a way to work your way through it. That is a sign of a champion team. And the Illawarra Hawks, how can they bounce back? There's a few guys who are going to have a sleepless night tonight, Derek, because there was a couple of crucial plays that they would love to have back.
That's correct, but I think the thing that Melbourne United, and especially their head coach, Dean Vickerman, will be ecstatic about is in that fourth quarter and overtime period, 15 minutes of basketball, they restricted Illawarra to 22 points.
Yeah.
That's more Melbourne United winning basketball, and I think that's why the signs are ominous now for Illawarra.
It was 77-93. They came back to win by 9. Daly had 30 points and is with Nerily Meadows.
Matthew Dellavedova, that was an enormous effort from you and from your team, down by 16 points. Can you put into words the effort that took?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of hung our hat on the defensive end all year, and we weren't happy with how we were doing for three and a half quarters, and we really dug in that last quarter and forced it to overtime, and you know, we got to do it on the defensive end.
I know you don't like talking about yourself, but humour me, please. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 steals. That was an enormous game from you personally.
Yeah, I mean, feeling good. Had a long break. You know, we've been working hard, so just happy to get the win in game 1.
And what about the efforts of the likes of Travers and the way that the veterans, Golding and Ian Clark, stood up in those timeouts and gave the messages that needed to be given?
I mean, everyone had their moments. LT and Shilly pushing the ball, getting some easy ones. CG with a huge bucket to get it into OT. Joe, Big A, blocking some shots. IC hit a couple big buckets, so we're going to need everyone.
Have you landed a psychological blow ahead of Sunday?
No, we just need to recover up and get ready for game 2.
Well done.
Thank you.
Press up. Unbelievable game from Matthew Dellavedova. It just doesn't get much bigger than that.
37-10, and they'll be partying at the Supreme Court Hotel in Maryborough tonight. Don't you worry about that.
Yes.
A massive game. United come from 16 down in the final term to run over the top of the Hawks. We'll break it all down after this.